Love is a battlefield. Today we're going to do 3 ways you can meet people. This goes for men and women. So the first one is, and I think the one that most people are familiar with, is social circle.
A dangerous game.
It's a dangerous game. Social circle is your friends, the people that you grew up with, the people that you go to school with, or the people that you work with. So it's people that live and work and study close to you.
Yeah.
You have multiple people that you both know.
Yes.
So this is why it can be dangerous. From the guy's perspective, the biggest advantage is that the women know you. So they'll kind of like make it known through one way or the other that they do like you.
That is true.
Right? From a women's perspective, the guy is already a known quantity. So it's not like some rando.
Yeah.
So they have more information on you and they can more confidently say that they like a certain guy. But there's downsides.
Yes. One of the big downsides is that all the women also know each other.
Yeah, that is sinister. What's going to happen, the problem is, from a guy's perspective, the problem is that if you go out with one of these girls, everybody else knows. Then the other thing, girls talk about pretty much everything. Everything. So literally everything. People think guys talk about sex. They don't really talk about sex, at least not compared to women.
So they all know each other.
Yeah.
So one of the bad parts about this is that one will choose you.
Yeah, that's a really bad part.
One will decide that you belong to her. And even if you don't find her attractive, you don't really want to talk to her, you can't. All the other ones are off limits. Right. You don't even know what you're getting into.
The women will try to enforce a group decision upon you.
It's a little bit strange.
Yeah, so just be aware of that. From the women's perspective, the downside is that if they know you're going out together, they know the people in your friend group know you're sleeping with somebody. Not the greatest thing. That's going to mean the other guys are not going to see you as somebody that they might want to be with in that group because they know somebody who you've slept with, which is always a little weird.
Yeah, and somebody might still sleep with you, but it's more like a I slept with you kind of thing. It's not really like
it's
I
not
like you kind of thing.
It's not a relationship, or you're not going to get commitment through that way.
Which is fine if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, but social circle just gets messy.
Yeah,
it's one of the reasons people say never have an affair or have a relationship with somebody at work.
Yeah.
So the second way to meet people is electronic, the newest way, and in my opinion, it's probably the most efficient way. We had a little bit of a disagreement about this before. I think we ironed it over. You said it was.
I think it's efficient, but you can get bogged down.
You can get bogged down in Vietnam. So watch yourself.
It's like going through a swamp.
It's like going through a swamp. Yeah, I think it's the most efficient way to reach the maximum number of people and go on the maximum number of dates. The problem is, the quality will be lower, generally, than social circle or cold approach. But there's still quality women there.
Yeah.
It's just a different curve.
Yeah. And one of the things with electronics is that you can't, if you swipe on everybody on something like Tinder, you're just going to be meeting with bots the entire time.
Yeah.
That's bad news.
You have to understand, when we say electronic, we're talking about these dating apps, and you kind of have to have some idea of how the dating app algorithm works. So like with Tinder, if you just swipe on everybody, it thinks you're a low-value person, so it'll assign you to a lower band. At least that's how it works right now in early 2018. Who knows how it's going to work later, but... Yeah. Just if I figure out a little bit of how especially if you're a guy. If you're a guy, you really kind of have to figure out a little bit of how these apps work. And then once you're on the app and you do get a match, pretty quickly, like within a day, max, you should be texting somebody on the app, and it should really only be logistics for meeting up. You shouldn't be going this whole conversation.
Yeah.
For guys, your goal is always to get to know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You just keep pushing until at some point she's like, no, or it doesn't give you the number or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I mentioned about being bogged down before is because if you get in a really involved conversation on these things, when you actually go to meet them...
Not much to talk about.
Not much to talk about.
Yeah, so you gotta keep that conversation short when you're actually on the app. Limit it to logistics only. Where you're going to meet and how you're going to meet and what time.
But at the same time, your first message should not be, hey, let's meet at
this
place at this time.
Yeah, you can't. That'd be a little weird.
Extremely weird.
Yeah. So you kind of just, hey, what's up? Say something interesting or something that's about her profile or something outrageous. Just something to get attention. maybe a one or two back and forth. Then hey, let's go do X. As the guy, you always have to say, let's go do X at X time. Third way, cold approach. You got two different types of cold approach. You have day and you have night. Cold approach day, you've got activities, and you've got like just literally you see some girl, you're in the grocery store, kind of a random. And then cold approach night, you have bars and clubs. This is, I would say, you're going to be able to see the girl in person. You're going to be able to pick a girl that you like more, or at least that you think is prettier. The downside is it's difficult.
It's extremely difficult.
Compared to the other ways.
Yeah.
Especially in 2018, because I think a lot of people, especially women, are getting more used to social circle and electronic methods. And so without any way to filter people out beforehand, a lot of people they seem like they have a bad reaction to it initially. So you have to like hang through that curve. You have to like, why are people talking to me? I'm supposed to be on my cell phone. Like, you have to like hang through that curve. And not all people are like that at all.
You really have to wade through it.
Yeah, but you have to get through that curve initially if you do experience it. That cold approach during the day, so you have activities. Let's say you sign up for a fucking yoga class, or you play golf, you meet people out, or there's like a function. You can meet people at functions, like school things, work things.
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily in your social circle.
Something we should mention, though, is the gym.
Yeah, in particular, I don't know, this is just my personal
thing. This is my
thing.
opinion as well.
Yeah, it's just our personal opinion. You probably shouldn't be harassing people at the gym if you're a guy.
The gym is a place to work.
Yeah, it's not a place to go and really get people's numbers. You can always try. So I guess just be...
Yeah, I don't advise it.
Yeah, it's not my thing. I've done it before, but I don't know. Most of the time, it's not really the place to do it.
No.
And then, like I said, so you have these activities during the day. And then the harder version of day, probably the most difficult, is day random. Cold approach, day random. You see some girl in the supermarket, you're like, oh, I'm going to talk to her. So like in those cases, you kind of just got to sidle up and first of all, never approach from behind. Never approach from behind in any of these scenarios. But you kind of just got to sidle up and talk about something innocuous at first. Don't just come up with, hey, you're cute. You have to, even that would be better than nothing, but you kind of have to open up to something more innocuous and then just have a conversation and then just get her contact info. And, half the time it'll be wrong contact info and half the time it'll be right.
Yeah.
So then there's also cold approach night, bars and clubs. With clubs, just know how to dance a little bit. All right.
This is extremely important.
Yeah, just know how to dance a little bit. It's not even that hard. Just get into it. And with bars, just don't be afraid to go up next to people. Remember, never from behind.
Yeah.
And then start a conversation. Cold approach at night is different because when women go to bars and clubs, they're in a social space that is explicitly approved for people meeting each other. So it's not like 11 a.m. grocery store where you are not exactly expecting to talk to strangers. So bar and club is different. People are more expecting for that interaction to happen, which makes a huge difference.
But at the same time, you have to talk about the group.
Like approaching groups?
So oftentimes women do not just go by themselves to these types of places.
Yeah, women generally don't.
Almost 100% of the time.
Yeah, right.
So you have to sometimes fight with the group.
Right. The group is always going to want to kick you out. So you gotta worm your way in there. So women always go out in groups, which is something you have to realize. A lot of times, even with men in the group, when you're approaching groups, and if you're approaching a set of two girls, that's usually not that much of a problem. You just have to be comfortable with yourself, confident, and to be able to talk to two people. But if they're in groups, that's a little bit more of a different dynamic. When you approach the group, you can never go for the person you want to talk to first. You kind of have to get in the group first. It's almost kind of like a form of patience.
Yeah.
So like you go and you talk to the group, you kind of have to talk to everybody. You have to be accepted by the group before you can talk to who you want. You also, because when you go to a group and you beeline towards the person you want to talk to, you think your motivations are too clear, and the group is going to try to stop you. And the group is going to try to use its force, because I don't know why, but a lot of times people don't like a winner. So
Yeah.
they're going to try to stop you. So you kind of have to like just get in with the group more, just be cool and just see how things go, and eventually make your way over to the person you want to talk to.
Something that actually helps with this is actually if there's a guy in the group who's talking to the guy,
Yeah, that can be a good in.
it's really easy to talk to other guys.
Yeah, because if you're a guy and you want to talk to another guy, then you already know what to talk about, and you have a similar method of communicating. So you can get in with the guy first, and then that's a good opening for a girl to come up and to create an opening. You can also talk to the ugliest girl first. That's usually a really great strategy. You talk to the ugliest girl first, all the other girls are going to be like, why the hell is she getting the attention? It's going to make them jealous. And on top of it, the other guys are going to be like, okay, if he takes her, all right, I'm good with that. I think, right? A lot of times you go up and you talk to the ugly, and that girl that's ugliest, she's going to be like, oh, that's nice that somebody came and talked to me.
Yeah.
Like, usually that'll just tear open the group. Like, you come in, and they expect you to go here, and you go the other way, and then you're in. So that's also a really good method.
Yeah.
A lot of this has been, like, focused on guys, like, from the guy's perspective, and it's because in all of these situations, it's the guy that's expected to approach first. Women have an easier time filtering guys that approach them, so I think guys need more advice on how to approach women, because it's the harder thing to do. Approaching and selecting is harder than filtering.
One other thing I'd like to add about the groups, and this is someone mentioned before, but if you see somebody that's attractive you want to talk to, don't talk to them first. Just don't do it.
Yeah, that's a good rule.
That will never work out. Maybe like 9%.
If you're like a celebrity.
If you're a celebrity, then fine.
Or you just come in and making it rain or something. Like, I don't know.
But just don't talk to the person you find the most attractive. Talk to other people first.
Right.
And then if the person thinks you're interesting or thinks you're attractive, they will likely start to approach you.
Yeah.
Or at least signal to you that they want you to talk to them. That's actually the most common.
Yeah.
Yeah.